Let's talk about the position that used to be one that people, because be honest, didn't have a lot of respect for the last couple of years in the NFL. And now all of a sudden there's talk now of running backs potentially being the key to success in the NFL. And that's because of what happened this offseason. Listen, a lot of big name running backs left. And they went on Redfin.
Yeah.
They've and they've gone ahead, and now you got Saquon obviously going to the Eagles on pace to break the NFL rushing record, by the way, guys. Henry, a lot of people kind of lost that beast again in Baltimore. And Josh Jacobs, who had an off year last year, off to Green Bay, and obviously Green Bay is having a really good season, this year as well. He's got almost 1,000 yards rushing on the season. He's having a pretty decent season himself there. So, again, it's been a position that people have undervalued the last couple of years, and the talk's been like, "Oh, don't pay a running back. Don't pay a running back," and for good reasons. Let's be honest. There's a lot of bad scenarios that happen from paying running backs. Eagle Elliott, there's different guys that have been gotten paid, and talent's fallen off the cliff, basically. But again, now you have a trifecta of running backs this year, and they haven't fallen off the edge. So,
but you said it right there, trifecta. There's 32 teams.
Yeah.
So when 10%, less than 10% of the specialty positions are like studs, and no one else is really going off the wagon.
Yeah.
There's things to be said about that.
Here's the stat that keeps going out there on social media, and I've updated it from when I last saw it based on yesterday's games. The teams that lost the running backs, Raiders, Titans, Giants, those teams are a combined 7-29. Not good. Now, the teams that gained those running backs, the Packers, the Eagles, and the Ravens, 27-10 guys. And that's what people are looking at. And I don't think that's simple.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
The Ravens, the Packers, and the Eagles were very good teams the last couple of years.
I was going to say, what was the Ravens' records last year without Derrick Henry? What was
Actually,
the Packers?
Probably better, to be honest. The Ravens are 8-5 this year. I have to look at what they were 13 games last year, but
they were up there. At this point, they were double digits. I'm pretty sure they're 11 wins at this point. I think they were 11-3 at one point.
The Eagles had the one loss forever until they all of a sudden just hit a wall and lost every single game almost. The rest of the
they started. Listen, they started on the season that way too, and then they went on a nasty tear the past 2 months.
Now, does it help having 1,000 or close to 2,000 yard rusher? Of course it does. But I can't look at these guys and say, you know what, these guys are playing. This team's still playing so much better thanks to the running back, when they did the same exact type of record last year. But to reverse that, the Giants were bad last year. The Raiders were bad last year. The Titans were bad last year. So am I going to sit there and say they made a huge difference? Now, some of those teams obviously are also down. I mean, like the Giants had 6 wins last year. We got just 2 so far. But, who knows what's going to happen the rest of the way at that point. But regardless, 6 wins, 2 wins, it's a crap team.
I'm pretty sure at this point this year we had 4 wins.
Yeah, because this is before DeVito took over and started winning. And we won, I think, 1 or 2 games with Tyrod as well. But, it's, like I said, to me, it's an oversimplified stat saying, oh, well, the teams that lost their running back are 7-29. The teams that won are 27-10. Well,
you're telling me the Titans would have made that much of a difference by having Derrick Henry?
Yeah, seriously. You're saying you kept Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, and Saquon where they were, that those teams become winners all of a sudden? No.
Let's just fluff everyone's ego here. They get an extra 2 games. So you're saying that they're going to be 13-23. You still want that record?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so I'm going to reverse this a little on you. If Derrick Henry had stayed in Tennessee, hypothetically, and Lamar Jackson went to Tennessee, you think the Titans would be 8-5? It's more likely that.
Yeah. Especially because, like, when you go,
because they kept Henry.
Yeah, especially when you go from a place where Derrick Henry was the guy. He was the dude the past couple of years.
Oh yeah.
And now he's not. He's the supporting cast to the dude. Like Lamar's the dude over there. He's your running back. He's led that team and run the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And he's the second lead rusher on the team currently. So
rushing yards, you're saying?
Yeah.
Derrick Henry? No, he can't be. He's got 1,400 yards, dude.
No. I said Lamar. I'm talking about Lamar.
Okay.
Lamar led that team. So Lamar led the Ravens, I want to say, in rushing the past 3 years or 2 years leading up to Henry going there. Where now Lamar, I think, is 500 yards, 400 yards, and he's like the second lead rusher over there.
I'm trying to look it up real quick because I didn't plan on talking about that part of it there.
I'm just saying, like, when you
he's got 678 rushing yards so far, and like I said, Derrick Henry is 1,407 right now.
Yeah, and who's the third place running back on that team? Justice Hill, like
I'd have to look.
350.
A lot of them guys, a lot went over the Chargers.
Probably got like Justice Hill like 350 yards.
All the backup running backs for the Ravens here. Let's see. Justice Hill is still there. That's their backup.
What I just said. It's probably got like 350 yards.
No, he's got 191.
Way off. I was trying to be very courteous to that man.
Yeah, that's not so good. But again, when you got those two guys doing 2,000 yards combined already in 13 games. But what I'm just saying is, it's not the key. I don't think a damn thing has changed as far as running backs. What just happened is 3 really good teams, and I hate saying that because the Eagles are one of them, but 3 really good teams got a really nice complementary piece. We say complementary piece.
Yeah.
Like, and they all work very well for where they're at. I mean, Lamar Jackson's a speed, obviously rusher when he's rushing the ball, very agile, and Derrick Henry's going to just smack you right in the mouth. You know, a guy like Saquon, well, they love short passes and stuff like that in Philly, and he fits that bill perfect there for that scenario. You know, even Josh Jacobs at that point, again, he's a different change of pace from the usual, more finesse passing offense that Green Bay's been known for, basically going back to the Brett Favre days at that point. So, they just fit very well where they're going. But to me, the fact that people are sharing out on social media that the running back may not be as unimportant as it used to be because of these 3 guys. Listen, guys, they're having great seasons, and I'm not taking that away from them whatsoever. But Derrick Henry's 30 years old, guys. How much longer do you think he does that for? And it's a legit question, because if you sign him to a big contract,
we've also been saying that for the past 2 years for him, because he's not one of those finesse, like, I'm going to run speedster guys. He's in your face bulldozer, and those guys typically don't last long. But he's probably like the had one of the longest recent longevities of that style of running back in a long time. Because
but you also look at the fact that he signed year $16 million. That's it. Like, that just shows what the market thought of him. And I just don't think that changes, because somebody's gonna look to, like, let's say if he was a free agent at the end of this year, hypothetically, and he's not, he's got one more year with the Ravens, but let's say he was, and they'd say, okay, you're going into,
you'll be 31.
31 years old. You're to have over 11,000 career rushing yards under your belt. Do I really want to mess with this guy? And that conversation will still be there, regardless of what happened this year. Right or wrong, it is what it is. It's going to be there. So,
yeah,
like I said, I think it's a little presumptuous to say things change because 3 guys are having success on teams that already were having success, while 3 teams are failing that were failing way before they lost those guys.
So they're plucking stats from 3 teams that did miss the playoffs, just not even close, with great players, still missed the playoffs. That those 3 players went to teams that made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
And now are looking like playoff teams. Wow. They made a big change.
Yeah. And, let's see. So Ravens were 13-4 last year. Okay. Titans 6-11. Eagles 11-6, but again, they lost how many games in a row towards the end there? Giants were 6-11. The Packers were 9-8. So that's the one thing you can say they definitely improved, but they also had a second year out of their quarterback, which does definitely make a difference there.
Listen,
Whereas
Love was very wishy-washy, and he definitely played better the second half than the first half.
Yeah, so the Raiders were 8-9. So, I mean, again, you can sit there and say there's a change. And I'm not saying these guys don't have any effect on the team. Clearly they do. But to sit there and say that these guys were like the missing pieces that make these teams great, and all of a sudden you change the whole entire way you look at the position because of those three guys is ridiculous. Now, do you get a GM next year that has a really good team and doesn't have a running back and go, you know what, we get this running back. This might be the missing piece. Yeah, that's possible. Especially if one of these teams wins the Super Bowl, because people do that like this league. That's the way it is. The generic ideas and unoriginal ideas are just par for the course. But I'm just not so sure I can sit there and say things change because of that. I really don't think I can.
No.
So.
And that's something we said about like Barkley last year. Listen, like if the Giants were a playoff team, that's a different scenario. If you think they're a Super Bowl caliber team, then you pay your running back.
Damn straight.
And guess what? All three of these teams think they're a Super Bowl caliber team.
Yep. Yeah,
so,
and they should.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, they should. So.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.